Welcome to class tonight. I do hope that you all are doing very well. Now, we have been working with decimals, and we've gotten into some really deep and kind of scary stuff with estimating and multiplying and dividing. Tonight, however, it should actually be quite easy and manageable because all we're going to be doing tonight is moving a decimal left or right, and it really is that simple. Let's go ahead and get started by opening to page 40 in your books. Once again, open to page 40 in your book. Now you see our lesson is all about multiplying and dividing decimals by 10, 100, and 1,000. So you hopefully learned when you multiply by 10, all you have to do is add a 0 to that number. For example, if I'm going to multiply 10 times 3, all I have to do is just add a 0 to this number right there. Now that's something you should have learned a long time ago, or it should be stuck in your brain. So multiplying by 10 is very easy because all you do is add a 0. Now when you multiply by 100, all you have to do is add 2 zeros. So for example, we do 100 times 6. When 100 times 6, all I have to do is just take 6 and then add 2 zeros. Once again, that's very, very easy. Well, you are actually, well, yes, it seems like you're just adding decimal or adding zeros. You are actually doing, or what you're actually doing, is moving the decimal point to the right. Okay? Let's try some examples with decimals. All right, so let's go to these examples then right here. So once again, kind of like back here, all I have to do is take 1, 5, and then add a 0. Here I just take 3 and then add 2 zeros. It's that simple. Well, when I multiply right here with a decimal, all I have to do is move the decimal point one place to the right. So I'm going to go to the right, just like that. So I see 1, 0, so I move it one place to the right. So 10 times 1 and 5/10 is going to be 15.0, or 15 and 0/10, or just 15. You can leave it as that. So all I do is move the decimal to the right. Another example here. Ooh, that's scary. 0 3/100 times 100. Well, let's see. I have 2 zeros. So that means I'm going to move my decimal 2 places to the right. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and it's going to end up right there. So in other words, I'm going to go 0, 0, 3. And then put my 0 back there, or I don't need those here, it would just be 3. So you see, all I do when I multiply by 10, or when I multiply by 100, all I do is move the decimal point. If you multiply by 10, you move it one place to the right. If you multiply by 100, you move it 2 places to the right. Let's do some more examples, and let's get slightly more scarier. Say that on purpose. But it really isn't scary at all. So right here I have 36 and 5/10 times 100. So I have 2 zeros. So that means I'm going to take my decimal point, I'm going to move it 2 places to the right. Now, wait a second. There's nothing there. Ooh, actually there is. There's actually a 0 there. So in other words, when I multiply 36 and 5/10 times 100, I'm going to move the decimal place 2 times to the right, so it would be 3,650. Now, you say, Mr. Hurst, are you sure? Are you absolutely sure? Well, let's test it. Let's put this as, so I'll do this one the long way, the old way. So 0 times 5 is 0, 0 times 6 is 0, 0 times 3 is 0. 0, 0, 0. 5, 6, 3. Alright, so right here, I'm going to say I have 1 decimal point down here. So I'm going to, when I add this up, my spacer's in there, I'm going to have the decimal point right there. So I'm going to add it up. 0, 0, 5, 6, 3. Oh, look at that. 3,650 and 0/10. So I can, instead of doing this long, tough way, I can just take this decimal, and move 2 places to the right, and get 3,650. Let's do 2 more examples. Now I see the number 1,000. Ooh, scary. Well, not really, because just like our tens and 100s, all I do is count the decimals, 1, 2, 3, or count the zeros. I have 3 zeros, so that means I need to move my decimal 3 places to the right. Now you say, Mr. Hurst, there's no decimal there. Well, actually, there is. It's just invisible. It's always behind it. So all I'm going to do is simply move the decimal point 1, 2, 3 places to the right, and then fill in zeros. So right there, I get the answer 5,000. All right, last one, and this is the most applicable to what you'll be doing for homework tonight. Zero and, supposed to be a 0 there, 0 and 676 thousandths times 1,000. So here I have a decimal point, so I had count up my zeros, 1, 2, 3. I have 3 zeros, so I'm going to move my decimal point 1, 2, 3 places to the right. And so it's going to be 670, try that again, 676 is my answer because I just moved my decimal place 3 places to the right. So, to recap, whenever I multiply by 10, 100, or 1,000, all I do is count up the zeros and move my decimal point that many places to the right. You could multiply by 1,000,000 and you'll still get the exact same, or you'll still do it the exact same way. Count up the zeros and then move the decimal place that number to the right. Now, let's very quickly talk about division. Now, hopefully you remember that division is the exact opposite of multiplication. It's the exact opposite. And so when we divide here, this right here, you get used to this, that is the symbol for divide. Okay, that's why you see it here. This, when we divide, we do the opposite of multiplication. So, when we divide by 10, 100, and 1,000, we are going to do the opposite of what we did. Now remember, when we multiplied, we moved the decimal place to the right. So when we divide, we're going to do the opposite of that, which is move it to the left. We're going to move the decimal point to the left. So when we divide 17 by 10, let me erase this. When we divide 17 by 10, we're going to move my decimal point 1 place, because I kept 1 0, 1 place to the left. So now 17, my decimal point is back there. I'm going to move it 1 place to the left. So my answer is 1 7/10. When I multiply 17 by 10, I get 1 7/10. Let's do another one. Now I see 100 with 2 zeros. That means I need to move my decimal point 2 places to the left. Here's my decimal point, so I'm going to go 1, 2, and it's going to end up right there. So when I divide 89 1/10 by 100, I'm going to get 0 and 891 thousandths. Because I moved my decimal point 2 places to the left. Last one. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, I have to move my decimal point 3 places to the left. So I'm going to go, now this is kind of scary, so watch it carefully. 1, 2, 3. I have to move it, yeah, I know the board messed up. That's okay though. So I have to move my decimal point 3 places to the left. So I have to actually add 2 zeros to it. So it's going to be like this. 0 and 0, 0, 8, 1, 7. Ugh. Or we would say 0 and 817 hundred thousandths is my answer. Now that's kind of scary. But the nice thing is, this is really, really easy. It really is quite simple. Because all you are doing, if you are multiplying by 10, 100, 1,000, you just count the zeros and move the decimal point right. When you are dividing by 10, 100, 1,000, you move the decimal point to the left. And it really is as simple as that. Well, that is it tonight. Remember what I just talked about. When we multiply, move the decimal place right. When we divide, move the decimal place to the left. Your homework tonight is going to be page 41, 6 through 16 even. Once again, page 41, 6 through 16 even. Have a wonderful night. and we'll see you all tomorrow.